Where are mainstream media today? They disappear. They ignore us.
We will sing a song together called Asian Girl Crying in the Wind.
风中哭泣，黄色的脸孔，有红色的污泥。
I'm in Mill Lastman Square in North Toronto taking in the Vigil for Marrisa Shen. Now, Marrisa Shen is the 13-year-old Vancouver girl who was brutally murdered last summer. And very recently, Vancouver police charged 28-year-old Ibrahim Ali with her murder. And as it turns out, Mr. Ali happens to be one of Justin Trudeau's Syrian refugees.
There is anger in our chest because back in 2016, the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau promised to the whole country, the quotation mark, I will be personally responsible for harm that may come to any citizen of Canada, any harm from any refugee brought into Canada by my government. I stand personally responsible. Now, Canadians are asking, Mr. Trudeau, how are you going to take personal responsibility for Marissa's death?
What do we want from our government? We want safety. We want our land to be safe, and we want them to be accountable for what they have done to our people.
We want to make sure that Canada is safe, irregardless who actually come to Canada. Anyone who come to Canada, we expect them to uphold our Canadian law. Doesn't matter which country they're coming from. Melissa, her background may be Chinese-Canadian, but we are Canadian.
What do you make of the seemingly double standard that we have today? Back in January, the Asian community was basically maligned by the hijab hoax. It was a false crime that never was committed against a Muslim woman. You had the mayor, the premier, the prime minister weigh in immediately. Here we have a real crime against a young woman who paid with her life, and yet where are these elected officials and where is the mainstream media?
Well, first and foremost, for any of these crimes, we expect our police, which in this case, the Vancouver police, do an amazing job to actually capture the perpetrator. And we're expecting and we're depending on our law to actually to make the wrongs to right. And most important, doesn't matter whether they're Muslim, doesn't matter what background they are, and doesn't matter who the victims are. We want to make sure that all Canadians in Canada is being treated and being protected.
They will label us as Nazism, racism, white supremacy, far right, and so on. I don't care. I don't care. Call me Nazism. Call me far right. You are far wrong.
I have to say that our country is sick. Our country is sick. Actually, not only Canada, but also the whole Western countries are sick, are hijacked by political correctness, which is a cancer cell. If we do not seize that, the whole country and the whole Western world will be in danger, will be in disaster, will be in catastrophe.
May you rest in peace there in heaven. No tears, no separation, no sorrow.
Well, we came out here to support the Asian community and the loss of one of their members who was taken from the parents by a Syrian refugee.
Well, in fairness, it's alleged, it hasn't been proven in court. But, your point about the Asian community, the last time the Asian community was in the news in a big way was about the hijab hoax. And what I find interesting as an observer, this was a fake crime with no victim, and yet you had the mayor, the premier, the prime minister rush. Yes. And
Without a police
Without an investigation, without anything, stopped the presses and called out to the Asian community. And the Asian community had a couple of rallies in Toronto and then in Ottawa asking for the Prime Minister to apologize. And to this day, he's not apologized, nor has he gone out to the family out in BC or expressed his condolences to them.
Why do you think that is?
Because he has a preference over a sect of our population, and it's we're all aware of it.
Pandering.
So is that the end game for the Justin Trudeau Liberals? Allow thousands and thousands of a certain type of refugee into the country. These people will be forever grateful for that and vote Liberal, and they'll go forth and multiply. It's all about building the Liberal base in the years to come.
It is. People he can control as well. And it's globalism. It's an onslaught of globalism. But he's pandering to them for their votes. His father did the same thing.
Do you think it's going to work?
No. Canadians are waking up. The silent and moral majority is waking up. And we will stand up and fight for our rights and freedoms. That's the way it's going to go.
Today, we gather here, lay down the flowers, light up the candles, and more as one. First, let's have 1 minute of silence to pay the deepest condolence to innocent 30 years old girl Marrisa Shen. 让我们为申小雨静默1分钟。
Hey folks, if you like the kind of journalism we do here at The Rebel, please like and subscribe because you're not going to get this journalism anywhere else.